Where Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, is revealing that he has reached consensus with the minority to finally lay the import regulation seeking to restrict the importation of rice, cow stomach, and 20 other items. The legislative instrument has met fierce opposition from the minority, who have 3 times blocked its laying in Parliament. Speaking in an exclusive interview with JoyNews, the Trade Minister says the two sides have finally come to an agreement. He has also refuted claims that the legislation instrument could lead to corruption.
There's nothing before Parliament.
No, of course. I mean, of course, I know because but the pre-laying conversations have happened. So your colleagues have it, and that's where I got this one. When was this clause added?
I'm not sure. It was always there. It was always there. I'm not sure why. I tell you what, I don't know where you got this from.
It's a fair question. When was this?
No, it's always been there. It was always, look at the other one. Two, I just told you about the one that they thought they were interested and later on shifted their interest, the cement one.
We'll come to the cement one, substantively.
There, so I don't know where
my substantive question
remains. It's always been there.
My substantive question remains. Yes. You're actually saying that, again, within the confines of the act, you are the final authority. Of course, the courts then have to now decide whether you're right or not.
Administratively, somebody would have to be the authority to make a decision. In this case, it's double-layered. The committee and then to the minister. You're not happy with the minister's decision, go to court.
But why do you want to create that avenue for the minister to have that level of discretion, which obviously from our history leaves room for you to be manipulated?
That's a support that was done.
Beyond you, remember that. Beyond you, there'll be ministers beyond you who have to enforce this.
Why are you looking at Katie? Okay, let's talk about the minister. But why
this is institutional.
No, absolutely. But why do you think that this is an embodiment of corruption?
You may be a saint.
No.
You may be a saint, but somebody may occupy your seat tomorrow.
Claim to be a saint.
No, somebody may occupy your seat tomorrow.
And that person cannot lay claim to infallibility. But nobody is going to access this and be able to thereby corrupt themselves. I mean, what do you make of the reference to the court? I mean, I don't understand.
But this country, it goes without saying that the ultimate decision makers, Mr. Ketam, you know you're a lawyer, so you know, even if Parliament decides, the ultimate deciders are always a court. So actually this clause is just stating the obvious. That in all circumstances, if you're dissatisfied with any decision of any entity, you can go to court. You have recourse to court.
But
the fact that you stated it here,
if you're conscious of the fact that the addition adds nothing to it, then why were you hammering on the fact that, well, it isn't on your document and that Grace Avenue?
Your point is?
My point is this: it was on the strength of this that I proceeded to lay the document the day after.
But we've heard the minority leader say that they oppose.
That's what I call duplicity. This is the committee that I was compelled, contrary to the demands of the regulations, demands of the Constitution and the standing orders, to go before, to explain myself. And this is the report to the minority leadership. And then they come back to tell me that, well, they don't know that, whatever.
This was on the 22nd.
That was a conversation with Evans Mensah yesterday. Industry players are, however, remaining divided over their support for the regulation. Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association, John Awuni, describes the minister's statement that they have been consulted as untrue. He joins us live for a conversation. John Awuni, I'm grateful for your time. The minister insists that you guys have been consulted, and you say he didn't?
Good morning, Aisha, and good morning to your viewers and listeners. It's quite unfortunate that the minister will speak on public and declare that we have been consulted. Aisha, the minister is a lawyer. Giving out information to people is different from consultation. Consultation, by my understanding, is giving out your idea of a subject matter and listening to the receiver, his also idea. Then you will all dialogue and come to a consensus. Indeed, if we were consulted, Aisha, We will not come out and be speaking the way we speak. We don't even have to come out. Do we or all the groups, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Food and Beverage Association, Ghana Chambers, Ghana Importers and Exporters Association, Ghana Automobile Association, Ghana Institute of Free for all the business groups in this country, do we sound like people who were consulted? No. Clearly, we were not consulted. And if we were consulted, me to be part of this document will not come out like this. I have too much expertise in the industry to allow a document like this to go to Parliament. A document that goes to Parliament seeking to restrict imports, seeking to ban importation of certain products. Yet there is nothing on the ground. There is no logic on the ground to point to the fact that you have put things in place.
The man says they are not banning the importation of products. They are restricting. He wants us to stick with that word.
Yes, we can restrict with that word. It is just the issue of semantics. If you want to restrict imports, how does a nation or does an individual restrict imports without providing alternatives? You want to restrict imports. Who is producing sugar? Who is producing sugar in Ghana? Maybe it is the minister and his cronies who now want to start importing sugar. Who is the producer of sugar in this country? That sugar is on the list. You want to restrict rice. Who are the producers of rice? Who are the wholesalers of the rice? Who are the retailers of the rice? O-level economics, which I did, or O-level commerce, which I did, taught me that production is not complete until it reaches the final consumer. Now, for a system like this or for an LI like this to go before Parliament, you would have needed as a minister to put in place identifiable producers, link these producers to the wholesalers, wholesalers to the retailers, and then you identify, that is step number one. Step number two, you identify at what price these producers are going to produce, and at what price will it be at the final consumer, so that the consumer will not be abused or will not be hurt. Number three, what quantities will these producers be producing over what period to enable the wholesalers plan? I'm giving simple, just free consultancy to the minister. There's a lot we can do. I could never have been part of this document and to be like this, with all humility. I have had so much experience in the industry over 20 years. As a consultant, as a researcher, as the president of the Ghana Rights Interprofessional Body, could never have been part of this document for this document to come out like this. Indeed, Aisha, it is important for every country to work at strategies to improve upon its production, to improve upon its self-sufficiency. Indeed, wholesalers or the importers of all those products listed will be very happy to buy their goods locally, because clearly they will have nothing to do with foreign exchange volatilities. You don't have to buy a product and then tomorrow the exchange rate changes and then you are in trouble. So we will all be very happy about that. But you cannot send an LI of such magnitude to Parliament when you have clearly done nothing on the ground. It defies logic. He is the lawyer, and law is about logic. So what is carried out there, there is no logic in it, because you have done nothing on the ground. Let him tell us the farmers he dealt with. Let him tell us the farmers, what quantities those farmers, whether they are poultry, whether they are rice, whether they are cables, whether they are tiles, they are goats, produce, whatever.
Well, the minister intends to lay the LI again in Parliament in spite of all the resistance. I mean, what has become of your petition to Parliament?
It's a shame that a minister, he will continue to insist on a wrong that he has done. Clearly, I listened to Parliament when they rejected it for the first. They told him that go back and do consultations with the key stakeholders. Has he done that? Has he contacted GUTA? Has he contacted Food and Beverage Association? Has he contacted the Chamber of Agric Farmers? There is a chamber led by one Philip Abayor. Has he contacted that chamber? Who has that minister contacted, and he's going back to Parliament? I heard that he just so he stood in some corner and cancelled cement. It is in Parliament that he even realized that cement, we don't even need to import cement. Cement is not necessarily to be restricted. Well, it's in the chamber. So this man has gone to consult nothing. Maybe there is something driving him beyond the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian.
But he showed us a document. He showed us a document, Mr. Awuni, that shows that, I mean, the Guta, Chamber of Commerce, and other of your groups are part of that committee that will determine who brings in such product.
It is not part, Aisha. We are talking professional, number one. If he says, show that this document will be part. Listen, you don't restrict something. Aisha, your husband, if you are married, your husband cannot come home and say that, don't cook rice in the house again, when the woman has not given you something alternative. The man is leaving home for work and tells you that in the evening, don't cook rice. So what should I cook? And what you should cook, it should be available. What we are saying is that this minister and those people who are pushing for this policy have done nothing. I heard him in the interview saying that Zoom Lion has promised to produce rice by December. As it is now, he has not produced because we haven't restricted. Does Zoom Lion need restrictions of rice before he can produce? If Zoom Lion wants to produce rice and he's not sure about marketers, he should see me. I will link up producers and marketers to him, and he will buy. We don't need to restrict rice before they will buy. He will produce. Let them go ahead and produce. I brought in investors in the year 2004 to produce sugar in this country. This investor said they should increase tariffs in this country so they can produce sugar. His Excellency the President, John Akufo-Addo, said he will not do that until they prove their work on the ground. We repeated the same investors with His Excellency the late President Atamios. Atamios said no, he will not do it until they prove their work on the ground. We repeated that with His Excellency John Mahama. He said he will not do it until they prove their work on the ground. Which manner of man goes to war without first counting, checking his strength? The minister is going to war, saying that he's going to restrict imports, and he has not even counted the cost of it.
I'm grateful for your time. John Awuni is Executive Director of the Food and Beverages Association. They say they will resist this ally with all that they can. Let's take a break on JoyNews Desk. When we return, it's business.